Hey guys, in today's video, I'm really excited. I've wanted to get her onto our YouTube channel for a little while now. We spoke with Valeria from Mind the Grad. In this interview, Valeria and I basically had a conversation around how international students can best increase their chance of finding a job in the UK in 2021. Please feel free to click down in the link in the description below for more information about how you can speak to Valeria more, who we wholeheartedly recommend, and we're going to be doing some more stuff with in the future. Enjoy.
Hi, thank you for having me.
No, thank you for coming. It's lovely to have you. So let's kind of jump right in, and I know that your time is precious. So let's sort of start off with our first conversation topic, which is, in 2021, is it still possible to get a job in the UK as an international student?
That's a good question. I think a lot of international students are wondering, is it still possible with so many restrictions in place, with so many uncertainties? And I think that definitely it is still possible. Mike's clients do it, my clients do it. People that are studying in various courses are still getting jobs. It might be more challenging, but you shouldn't use it as an excuse for not looking for a job or giving up to start your career in the UK. Mike, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think exactly as you said, Valeria. It's probably a little bit slower. Certainly seen that in January and Feb. We've discussed this before. We're getting slower returns for candidates from interview to assessment centre and so on and so forth. But, definitely still possible, and you still want to keep plugging away at it.
Exactly. I completely agree with your point about it being slower. Definitely you should be prepared for slower responses from the companies because first of all, they're working remotely. Secondly, they just being slower because there is a lot of uncertainty. But if you're not getting a response, that's not always the bad news. Sometimes it's the good news. It just means you have to start planning way earlier your job search because if it's been before, it's been a long process. Now it's even a longer process.
Yeah, I think it's an even better reason to start earlier, right?
Exactly. If we just want to give actual numbers of how long it takes to find a job, we're just being vague of starting earlier. I think if before it would be 6 months to find a job, I think now you can even say 9 months. If I'm being too generous this time, do you think we should cut that amount of time people dedicate?
No, I think what you're saying is fair. I mean, average turnaround for clients at the minute is about 5 to 6 months, which is a slightly longer lead time than we'd expect. And yeah, I think there's always something to sort of, prepare to start early, get involved, get the practice in, get the failures out the way, and then press on.
Exactly, because it takes time to prepare your CV, it takes time to apply, then the companies take long to respond. So that you can be invited for an interview a few months after you have applied. And also some people take a break in the job search strategy because they have some dissertation to do or a holiday or just personal issues. So I think you should allow yourself at least 6 months to look for a job.
Yeah, spot on. I mean, with you speak to thousands of students and you've got a really, loyal fan base and following. What are the main challenges that are coming up for them and for your clients? And what are the sort of biggest problems that you've seen maybe over the past kind of 2020 and moving into 2021?
Yeah, apart from it being way slow, as you said, another issue that I have noticed is that some companies that used to sponsor are refusing to sponsor students. I'm not gonna, shame companies now in this conversation, but they definitely been way more cautious. I don't know what it is. It's either because they're worried about the visa processing times, or perhaps they're worried that it might take that the embassies or visa centers are going to be shut, or maybe they're just having the pressure to hire locally. I don't know what it is, but is that I don't think the companies now are more willing to sponsor than before, considering that the Brexit has happened and it's easier to sponsor and they have to sponsor European students. I just don't think that they've been more open-minded. If anything, they're more cost cautious probably, because everyone is in such difficult times, and as we know, sponsoring a student is sometimes a little bit more expensive than hiring locally. So that's what the challenge I have noticed. It doesn't mean you have to be negative, that there is no company that will sponsor you, but you just need to realize that you just have to be even more prepared to compete. You have to have even stronger profile. You need to have different strategies in terms of going around the system and networking with people in the companies. That's in my opinion. What do you think? If I have missed any information, do add if you have noticed there are any more challenges that, new to 2021 or 2020.
I think you covered it really well. Essentially it's a resources problem. So companies have less money. It may cost them up to £4,000 to sponsor a student, pay for their immigration health surcharge, plus, you've got the additional lead time of maybe 2-3 months of processing that candidate's visa. And companies are more cautious because of the current environment, and that will sort of continue in 2021. And I think exactly like you said, Valeria, you're going to have to be, not only you're starting earlier, but you're going to have to be a bit more imaginative and forceful in your approach. Maybe you're going to have to apply more for more companies. You're going to have to sort of extend outwards a little bit. And I think, you're going to have to try a little bit harder and be a little bit smarter in the strategies that you're using to look for work.
Yeah, completely agree with you. I have been following your content on LinkedIn, and you do post such real numbers in terms of job availability. And I think I read on your website or your page that the big companies have reduced the number of graduates that they take in, right? It's not the same as 2019, where the same number of graduates join or same number of junior talent that join. So it means that there are less places available that you're competing with if we're talking about the big firms. That's another challenge, right? It becomes more competitive. So not only some companies no longer accept international students or not openly discussing that, but also there are just generally less fresh talent being taken in by some companies. Why is that? Probably because running internships or graduate schemes remotely is just a little bit more difficult, and a lot of companies have changed the way they operate the business, so they just might have less need to hire junior talent. I know we're being a bit negative, but I think we have to be honest with our audience that there are new challenges that not only international students are facing, but the world, the things are changing. But the good news for you guys or anyone watching that it's not impossible. And maybe giving you this or explaining the challenges, you'll just get more serious with your strategy, and which will mean perhaps you wouldn't be as motivated before without having these challenges over your head.
Yeah, that's great. And you lead us really well into our next point, which is, talking about how has strategies changed, and maybe if you could give some, actionable advice to the audience and say, look, this is kind of the things that I'm talking about with my clients at the moment, with the people. I know that you've got a new group coaching program that's coming up soon, which I think will be super exciting. And we'll put a link down in the description below for the next event. So if you're watching this before the 3rd of March, and obviously come to that event. If not, we'll have something else up there for you and link back to the website. So, tell us the strategies that you're sort of talking about with your clients, Valeria.
Right. So the main thing I've been pushing very heavily is networking. I just think that Obviously, people rely on these grad schemes or big firms where you send out your CV and you're waiting for a miracle to happen. Or not a miracle, you're waiting for maybe a automated system to choose you or HR person to choose you, but it's very competitive and we don't know how many people are actually getting hired at the moment. With all those challenges, I think you have to be proactive with your job search. So what does it mean being proactive? Yes, you apply to traditional ways through application forms and submitting your CV and cover letters, but you also have to network online. My main tool that I recommend is LinkedIn. With LinkedIn, you can do so many things, not just follow up with your applications, but actually it's a tool where you can find all the professionals in the world that were smart enough to have a profile there or be kind enough to have a profile registered. So you can find people that already have jobs that you want to get. You can network with more senior managers. You can you can contact companies directly and ask for opportunities. So I would really recommend thinking, how can we be proactive with my job search? So get on the phone with people that already have a job that you want, find out advice from them, ask to be referred for positions, ask for work experience or internships. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be really energy consuming to reach out to people, to get rejections from people, to speak to you, and also perhaps people just won't respond to requests and connections. But I'm telling this because it worked for my clients during such difficult times. You just need one person that's going to be interested to help you personally, that is going to refer you or perhaps invite you to an interview, and then, or give you even an internship, and then your career can change significantly. So I do recommend, if you were unsuccessful with applying to graduate schemes, or perhaps it's just taken a very long time to get a response, again on LinkedIn, and start being proactive with your job search. What about you, Michael? Do you think it works, or is there any new things that people can try in 2021 if the international student looking for a job?
No, I absolutely think it worked, and I agree with you. I mean, it's a systematic approach when you're you're updating through the data that you're being given. And actually, it was what you're talking about is exactly, and we have it on the channel when I did a presentation for the London College of Fashion and for the students there, and I'm now one of their practitioners and residents for the international students. I said, look, be proactive, give generously. Don't sit there and wait for jobs to come to you, particularly when the supply is down and the demand is up. And like you said, there is a lot that you can do in between the spaces. And I think one thing I'm sure that you'll agree on it is about the consistency of application over time. So it's about saying, look, it's not about being successful first time, third time, fifth time. A lot of those elements or variables are out of your control. It's about, can you consistently give on a regular basis? I mean, for example, and that carries across for anything, even if you look at the thousands of subscribers that you have on your YouTube channel, for example, Valeria, that's based upon consistency over time. You didn't just make one video and then all of a sudden it's like, poof. It's like, oh, wow, look, you did so well. It's something, and it's something that we follow with our clients. And really that in itself is not rocket science, but I think a lot of people become despondent because you need to collect your own data instead of looking at what's happening externally and saying, oh, it's terrible. Friends and family say it's impossible. Go message people. For example, like you said, you can get a 30-day free trial for LinkedIn Sales Navigator. You could send out 100 messages today. I guarantee you someone's going to reply, and that's an evidence-based approach for exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, you're right. And actually very good point in terms of rejections and being hung up on being rejected from some kind of firm and this stopping you from continuing applications. And you said exactly what I tell my clients, there are so many things that are out of our control. And I do have people that just hung up on being rejected from the job that they thought they were a perfect candidate for. you have to get over being rejected for a job. You know, like move on, like it's nothing personal. We don't know what happened there. Maybe it's already hired internally, close the position. You were really late with applying. Maybe a robot decided that your CV was not suitable enough. We don't know. Just apply and continue with your job search. Don't take it personally. That's another thing that I think you have to persevere way more than before, and consistently persevere what Mike has said. And with being proactive, I think now we need to be flexible, that sometimes perhaps you wouldn't get a job straight away. It might not be like a perfect scenario. I'm studying a course. Here is the full-time position on tier 2 tier 2 skilled worker visa. It might be that you have to do an internship, work experience, project, and then prove to an employer that you are worthy. So that you are capable. So that's this type of positions, internships, projects, work experience, is not actively advertised. Companies might not even know they need an intern, but if someone with a great profile comes and says, guys, I can help you solve the problem, or I can help contribute in my spare time, then they might think about it and say, actually, yeah, we do need an intern for the summer of 2021, and then if it works out, they'll offer you a permanent job. That's just one of the ways you can go around securing a position.
Yeah, brilliant. And just to sort of close out, what's your advice for students, sort of maybe they're watching this, they haven't even started their applications. What would kind of be your runway of advice for those who are looking for jobs this year?
Well, I think that you need to really figure out what is the perfect career path for you. And, you know, I'm not saying you have to work with a career consultant like Mike or me. You can obviously do it yourself, but you need to have a very clear picture what's your strengths, or what are your strengths, and where you're going to take the strengths, and where you're going to apply, what's your selling point, what is your career path. Because if you're just going to be randomly applying for different positions without tailoring your CV, without having a strategy for networking, without knowing why, it's really hard. So I think it's the first step, actually having a clear picture in your head where you are selling yourself and why you are the best candidate for this type of positions. And then you can take it, you know, day by day, by choosing the companies, choosing the positions, tailoring your CV, writing strong cover letters, networking with the right people. But I think, you know, the first step is why and where you're going to go. Because I see a lot of mistakes from clients where they just, well, that sounds interesting, I'm going to go for that. Well, I just want any job in the UK. Perhaps I can go apply to marketing and finance job with the same CV. I don't think that works, unfortunately. I think it's very risky. So the first step is to really define your direction.
Yeah, that's brilliant advice. Know your outcome. Don't be random. I think also appreciate the difficulties now more than ever, because there's this sense of urgency, but in fact you'll save a lot of time if you really slow down. And like you said, it's something that you can do by yourself, but it does take a little bit of time. You know, for example, we covered this in our Zero to Job ebook, like write out a list of 50 companies you want to apply to, which seems extreme, but at least it's a start, and then have a systematic process to go through. And also, you know, be kind to yourself. I think, you know, when I know that we both speak to a lot of, you know, young people. Well, you're still young, younger than me anyway, younger people than me. Right?
You think that, you don't know.
And these young, really phenomenally talented, and I know that we both enjoy helping international students so much. It's so rewarding, and they're so hard on themselves. You know, I spoke to 2 young ladies yesterday, and they're like, "Why did I fail? Why this? And what's wrong with me?" Look, honestly, there's probably nothing wrong with you. You know, if you're really hitting against a brick wall over and over again, then maybe it's time to get a little bit of professional advice, get some feedback, get a coach who can just help you to just give you an external opinion. but definitely be persistent, but, you know, do plan, be clever about it. And also that market is going to, but there are so many phenomenal and exciting opportunities. You've got digital internships, you've got meetups, you've got so many people that you can access online. You know, this, I think 2021 is really exciting because it has changed. The graduate environment has certainly changed forever from my point of view.
Exactly. And that's so nice of you to say, to be kind to yourself, because people take it very personally when they get a rejection or they're not chosen after an interview that they prepared for. And I think the positive note that I can add from my side, you can be rejected from a company that is much, or a position that is much worse comparing to what you're actually going to get in the future. You know, if you were rejected from one job, it doesn't mean you can't get accepted for a better position, well-paid, bigger corporation, and so on. Your past failures does not define, you know, your future success. It has happened to me, you know, where I've been rejected from a job that I realized now I never wanted, but it felt like that was the end of the world. And, you know, we, you know, still, even at this age or this type of a career, sometimes, you know, talk to clients that we that decide not to go with us, let's say, or decide to pursue different paths. That doesn't mean that we are not professional in our field, right? There are so many things that just don't take personally on your success or your abilities. So that's really, really nice point, Mike.
Yeah, look, thanks, Valeria. Thank you so much for your time. I'm really stoked to have you on the channel. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you. And where can our audience find you?
So yeah, I just like Job Ready English. I have my own YouTube channel called Mind the Grad. Do check it out. I try to post content there. And also I do host free webinars or free lectures for international students where I share advice on how to find a job in the UK. So there is one happening next week. If you're watching it this week, when this video is posted in February 2021, you go to mindthegrad.com/webinar. But in the future, again, use the same link to access my future events. And I do hope to connect with you in other ways. Yeah, and thank you so much. You know, it's very kind for you to let me share my opinion with your audience and spend the time with me today. And I do appreciate all the content that you share. I follow it precisely because I think it's very, very generous from you to be so kind, to give the most updated information, you know, almost daily.
Thanks, Valeria. Thanks so much. And absolutely do go and check out Valeria's channel. She's phenomenal. And I've followed her content for quite some time now, and it's really packed with value. So thanks so much, and hopefully see you again soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.